captained, of course, by a very familiar figure in Andrew Ettingshausen. And amongst the forwards, Danny Lee missing, he has flu, his place going to Martin Lang. Paul Fisher taking over at hooker in place of Dean Treaster, who's out with glandular fever. The substitute, Craig Greenhill, Brett Howland, Wade Forrester and Stuart Pearce. St Helens side featured no fewer than 8 Great Britain internationals, and the big names there, Bobby Goulding and Paul Newlove, both back for the Saints, having missed the reverse fixture. Amongst the forwards, well, the Saints were missing Apollo Perolini, his place going to Andy Leatham. The substitutes, Joey Hayes, Chris Morley, Derek McVeigh and Ian Pickavance, who has been ill but had recovered enough from a stomach complaint to earn a place on the bench. So a big test for St Helens.
It'll be St Helens running from left to right. And it's Bobby Goulding who starts this encounter. The return encounter was Cronulla Sutherland in front of the Sharks' home crowd. And Davidson it is, the first one back, met by the St Helens defence, 3 of them in all, including Cunningham, the Welshman, who plays in the number 9 shirt. Cronulla Sutherland with several players, as I said, sitting up in the grandstands. Martin Lang. And now it's Jason Stevens. Stevens reaching the 30-metre line. First set of 6 to Wira Nekau. Now Paul Green it is that kicks at the end of the first set for Cronulla. And St Helens with Andy Haig, their first touch of the football. The number 5 is Anthony Sullivan. And number 27, Martin Lang. And Matafia put down on his own 30-metre line.
Well, probably no more famous name in English football than Sullivan. Anthony, I think, is the son of Clive, who played many, many seasons in England, one of their best players. As Julian O'Neill gets involved now, 42 out centre field from his own line. Bobby Goulding, who'll do plenty of this tonight. It's a pretty good kick down into the corner, just finding the in goal, 2 or 3 metres too long.
Ben Samet, the Cronulla fullback tonight, no David Peachy. So the tap taken by Cronulla. This is from the strongest tool in the Visa World Club Challenge. Top 3 would go through. So points for and against, of course, very, very important. Davidson just crossing the halfway line. Now onto the left of the ground for Nekau. Met there and pulled down by O'Neill, who played lower grades with the Warriors. Carries the same name as Julian O'Neill, of course, the controversial youngster from down at South Sydney.
And so far so good for St Helens. Defensively they've been sound. Cronulla haven't really tested them so far, haven't thrown the ball wide, but haven't missed any tackles yet. I expect to see them free-flowing in attack, the St Helens team, because they've got plenty of speed out wide with Hunt and Newlove and Anthony Sullivan. That's where their strength is.
St Helens about 38 metres away from their own line with Cunningham. Topping it back. Played there by Chris Joint. And Cunningham quickly into the dummy half position.
He's a good young player, Cunningham. Scored 2 tries against Penrith, had a 3rd disallowed one of the early rounds. Gained the kick from Goulding. This one, what can you believe? It stayed in field of play. Amazing kick. Salmon beats one, can't beat the second.
Quite a good chase on the kick there from the visiting English side. .25 away from their own line now, the Sharks. Green. Looks like Donaghy over there. Playing in his first match since some terrible injuries. Green again. This is Adam Dykes. Long run ending just outside the 30-metre line. Cronulla then setting it up on tackle number 5. And the reverse kick sees Eddinghausen flying down the ground with the ball taking the corner post. So it'll come back out to the 20-metre line for the tap restart.
And the first time Cronulla did go wide, they found some space there. Adam Dykes, normally we see him playing hooker, scooting from dummy half. He is a natural 5'8" or half, and I expect a big game from Dykes tonight.
Andrew, on the sidelines, I was talking about the fact that Cronulla and St Helens are in that, I think it's Pool A, with a lot of the big guns. What sort of points do they need tonight?
Well, the Sharks are fully aware, Ray, of the equation that they face tonight. They need to win by more than 22 if they're to move back into the top 3 after Auckland's big win yesterday over Bradford. So they want to skip back up that table, because only the top 3 from Pool A, which looks like being, say, Brisbane, Canberra, and either Auckland or Penrith going through to the finals.
This is Sullivan. Bobby Goulding. So the scrum will pack just inside the Cronulla 20-metre line.
And it was Paul Donaghy allowing the ball to go into touch. You mentioned him earlier, Ray, coming back from injury. It's an enormous night for Paul Donaghy. He hasn't played this year. He's had a shoulder reconstruction. And I can tell you it's an enormous night for him through experience. He'll be looking to get involved as soon as possible. There'll be some doubt in his mind until he gets involved in this, and hopefully he'll get through this game and the next couple without any problems at all. High tackle there, let go. No real problems, and it was the man I was talking about, Donaghy, coming in off the wing.
Early minutes. Very much an arm wrestle so far. Nicow out wide. Put down just outside the 40-metre line.
Well, Nick Gow is going to be one of the strike players for Cronulla tonight, but St Helens will know about his style of play. He did play at Castleford in the English competition for a few years. As Paul Green again puts the kick up. Haig in good position here, juggles it but takes it well. It's been a pretty good start from the St Helens side. Fairly solid in defence, and they haven't had too many problems getting out of their own danger area.
Yeah, Chris Joint's been good for them, Peter, hasn't he? He's a very strong player. Had a short stint at Newcastle, I think last year, the year before. World-class second rower he is.
This is Alan Hunt.
Joseph, mate, you don't grab boys and lift, okay? You still...
Penalty there for lifting in the tackle. Driving head first there. Jason Stevens, the man penalised.
Goulding again. Matautia. Goulding drifting across, picking up Paul Newlove. It's only a couple of years back that he was rated by the Englishmen as the best centre three-quarter in the world. St Helens then working inside the 30-metre line with Long. Sean Long, 15 out. Rebound off the legs of Cronulla. And a penalty goes to the Sharks.
Cronulla will go into the ball, ball back.
Yeah, penalty here going against Julian O'Neill for pulling one of the Cronulla players out of the way in his attempt to get to the football on the ground. Bobby Goulding, he was pleading for 6 again because he felt that the Cronulla players had touched it, which they did, but they didn't play at it deliberately. And there you can see Goulding is the man penalised, not O'Neill, for impeding one of the Cronulla players.
So almost 9 minutes of the match gone. No score. Jason Stevens. Just into St Helens area now, and a penalty against them. Inside the 10.
Well, again, you would expect Cronulla to hit a couple of their forwards in and then look for Nicow on the fringe of the ruck. He's the player tonight that is going to cause some problems. Very good ball player, but also a man who can take the defence on himself, break the line and then look for support. Paul Green finds touch. Pretty good kick. 15, 16 metres out. This is St Helens' first big test of the night.
So Cronulla with 2 passes finding the centre, and a penalty goes to St Helens.
That's for a Shepherd. Dykes ran behind one of his teammates, and according to Annesley, impeded a St Helens defender.
Yeah, I've got a doubt as to whether any St Helens player was going to get there, Paul.
There was a good blow up there by Carl Hemmond. He got the penalty for Saints.
Now O'Neill. Goulding. Long. That's Andy Leatham. Chris Joint. Just beyond the Cronulla 40-metre line. Long. Tautia. Now it's Danny Arnold. Able to offload for Hammond. Cronulla coming away with it.
Well, a couple of real pressure passes thrown there from St Helens. Undid a lot of good work. They looked dangerous in that set of 6, especially the burst from Leatham. He had a bit of support on the outside. If he could have found it, a real chance. Maybe just playing the hand a little bit too much.
There's Green. Just came unstuck at the vital moment. New Love with it. Across the ground they come. That's Hunt, Alan Hunt, Great Britain international. 8 of them, in fact, in this side have represented Great Britain. Back with New Love now. That is O'Neill. St Helens getting closer to that line. Joint. Paul Fisher, the tackler. A dummy on the blind side. Runs it into a head-on tackle. And a penalty going to Cronulla.
Disappointing there for St Helens, building up to something, but it was a play that went wrong. Bobby Goulding was going from the open to the blind, and then Cunningham didn't see him, just went forward. From here, some loose ball on the ground, not picked up.
Julian O'Neill dives on the ball from an offside position. That was the reason for the penalty. Bobby Goulding, he was livid with Kieran Cunningham for not finding him with the pass, but gee, he did put a bit of pressure on the dummy half. Raced across at 100 miles an hour. That's one thing about Bobby Goulding. He'll have plenty to say during the course of this match tonight. Dykes leaving the field. It's like a cut above his left eye, so that will be a blood bin.
Andrew Voss on the sidelines.
Yeah, quite a milestone of sorts reached with that 3rd penalty of the night awarded to the Sharks. They only got 3 penalties in the match they played in England. They got an absolute caning from the British referee David Campbell. The count ended up 14-3, and despite that, Cronulla went on to win by 40.
Craig Greenhill coming on. So the touch finder is a pretty good kick, actually, from Paul Green. Finding the line 35 metres out from his own try line. Greenhill quickly into the action. Stevens. They haven't really been able to mount any sustained pressure. Beautiful ball by Nicow. Richardson. The Then away from Bell. Davidson. Last tackle. And again, he's got them for obstruction.
Yeah, pretty good call, this one from Graham Annesley. It's Jason Stevens loitering around the play the ball area. But Paul Green out of dummy half ran behind, and that stopped the marker from getting there. It was long. He was impeded for a little while, and long enough for the referee to deem a shepherd involved.
This is Matautia. O'Neill. Leatham. Almost to the halfway line. Oh, that pass to Alan Hunt has been read by the touch judge.
That's a shame.
So we'll take a break and be back with you at Shark Park in just a moment. No score, Cronulla and St Helens. On the halfway line. Green. Now Chris McKenna. Lang. 28 metres away from St Helens' line. And Richardson. Bell. Will he make it? Yes, he has. He's got it over. Well, that was terrible defence by St Helens, allowing Jeff Bell to score.
Yeah, shocking defence here. Again, Russell Richardson proving to be a handful out wide. By the time Jeff Bell was in a bit of space, he was confronted by 3 defenders in a short period of time. Haig just gets pushed straight out of the way. That looks like Goulding trying to wrestle Bell away from the line. He couldn't keep him out either, but really the miss from the fullback was a shocker. Up around the head area, and Jeff Bell just came back inside to beat the halfback next.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? I mean, when Bell got into the open, Richardson got on the outside of Hunt. That was poor defence in itself. He gets into the open here and sees 3 of them. He's thinking, oh, I'm hundreds. They'll hammer me here. They'll put me in a touch or something. But he's come up with a try. Very slack. You've got to get him around the legs, boys. And then once again, Goulding held on for what seemed like half an hour, and there was still no cover coming over to help him. So that'll be their problem all night, St Helens out wide.
And Jeff Bell, we've seen him score plenty of tries this season. And tonight a real opportunity for a lot of the Cronulla players as Paul Green steps up and he's hit that one fairly well. 6-0 in favour of the Sharks after 17 minutes.
O'Neill. Out on his own 40-metre line. Matautia.
Well, trouble here for Davidson.
He's run very hard tonight, Matautia. He's been a real goer for the Saints team, and he absolutely creamed Davidson here with a barnstorming run.
Well, is it Davidson?
Might be McKenna.
Or it might be McKenna.
Whoever it is, just absolutely got wiped out from the shoulder. It is Chris McKenna. There you can see he gets the point of the shoulder, nothing wrong with it at all. McKenna just going in, leading with the head. Was knocked out immediately. Plenty of concern shown straight away by the St Helens team.
So at the 20th minute, it's the Sharks over the Saints, 6 points to 0. So Chris McKenna getting the full-on attention of the trainers. Chris McKenna, under the watchful eye of the Cronulla doctor, Peter Maloof, leaves the field. Forrester has gone on for Cronulla. Now, Goulding. Long's pass back for Leatham. Andy Haig. Hammond to Matautia. Tried desperately to keep it alive. Jeffrey Bell with it. Back on his own 20-metre line. Lang. Samet. Greenhill. Graham Annesley having a long look at this.
Can't play the ball forward.
I think that decision's okay because I don't think that St Helens did anything wrong here. Craig Greenhill is actually... No, he's hit that himself, Greenhill. He's pushed it forward and then picked it up from the ruck area. I don't think the St Helens player played at it at all. I've got no dramas with it.
O'Neill playing it. Now, for Long. New Love on the end of an Eddinghausen tackle. Sullivan. Beaten a couple. Nicow makes the tackle. Cunningham. Matautia. Now for Cunningham again. Good support play. Arnold. Inside ball for O'Neill. St Helens, he's gone for the video referee. Cunningham it is, who's appealed for the try.
Well, he's already claimed the try. He's very confident that the video referee will award this one. Good lead-up work there, tremendous work on the right side of the field. Then Cunningham scoots out of dummy half. I think that's a try. I think it'll be seen that way. He's a very clever player out of dummy half, good speed. Well, I think he's got control, but I think it'll be a try. What do you think, Paul?
I think it's a try, Pete, down with pressure. He's a good player, I know that. Cunningham, he's tough. He's taken a few of the big forwards front on and had a real crack at them in both attack and defence.
And again, the man who set it up was Matautia, keeping the ball alive, took three defenders out. They strung together a couple of more passes, and that put the Cronulla defence back on their feet. Cunningham scooted out of dummy half, got down low, dived between a couple of players, and we believe got downward pressure for a try.
Video referee Barry Barnes, here's the decision.
It's a try for Kieran Cunningham, the current Great Britain hooker. Well, his support play has been outstanding. Brings St Helens back to level on the try board. Concentrated attack, ending in a try for St Helens.
Let's just have a look whether he's got control of the football as he puts it down. Yeah, that's fine.
Goulding with a difficult assignment. 3 metres in, 20 metres out. Pulled it across the face of the uprights. So at the 23rd minute, Cronulla over St Helens by 2 points. Sean Long.
I reckon some of the St Helens players were at the 10-metre line before Long put his foot. The ball is a break straight from the kick-off.
Good bust there made by Cronulla's Wade Forrester. Good long run. Carried him about 50 metres. Paul Green capitalises. Now Martin Lang, oh! Ran into the shoulder of Matautia. Green. Adam Dykes knocking on. Took his eyes off the ball. And St Helens come away with it. 40-metre line. Now they do the same. Nickow. Ettinghausen. Stevens. To the 30. Cronulla trying to get something going. Martin Lang. Penalty to Cronulla.
Roll inside.
And right in front. 20 metres out.
Well, they're kicking for goal here. Andrew Ettinghausen has come in to have a little bit of a meeting with the team, decides.
That's a good sign, Peter. That shows that they've got some respect for their opposition tonight. St Helens, who are playing, I think, very, very well at this stage. I suppose the one thing going against St Helens tonight is the interchange rule they're using in the World Club Challenge, is the fact that they've got full replacement players and only allowed to use 6 interchanges all night. And that means the players will be out there, you know, most of the night. They'll probably get tighter as the game goes on. Well, it won't suit them.
The other thing going against the ball was Paul Newlove taking the ball up second tackle and dropping it cold. There's the bench there. Andrew Voss, what's the story? We've seen McKenna leave the field. Will he be back?
No, concussion at the moment for Chris McKenna as Paul Green lines up this kick. His record before tonight was 1 from 1 for 97.
So Green from 19 out, directly in front, and increases that lead for Cronulla to 4 points. And the half-time break, 10 minutes away. Hunt.
Hey, just looking at Paul Newlove out there, with high expectations of him tonight as Bobby Goulding drives the kick down. Donaghy does touch it, so the chasers are onside. I'm just wondering whether Sean McRae might take the chance of playing Newlove on the other side of the field up against the young Russell Richardson instead of taking on Ettinghausen, probably the best defensive centre in the world. Maybe Newlove with his ability a little bit served against the youngsters who's only just come into the top grade.
Craig Greenhill. Fisher. Now Dykes. Nickow. Trying to fend away from Long. Just into St Helens area. Here's Green, a weaving run. Cronulla keeping it alive. Richardson, 5 metres out from the line. From Ettinghausen, Green, across for Dykes. Ah, Dykes will score. Beautiful piece of play. Has done it on his own. 12 points to 4.
Yeah, tremendous vision here from Adam Dykes. It was set up by the weaving run of Paul Green. He cut out Ettinghausen. Pass, then thrown to a flying Russell Richardson. Good work from Wade Forrester to be backing up to throw that pass. And there's the fullback. The pass goes wide. Adam Dykes looks into open territory, slides it through. If we freeze it now, you can see nobody at home. In fact, Andy Haig will come in on that side very shortly as play continues. He was over where the ball was. Well, he did a pretty good job to get that far across, but nobody else in the front line of St Helens realised that their fullback was well away. The halfback there, you can see Bobby Goulding playing up in the front line.
Yeah, pretty handy player, Adam Dykes. And that's a good skill just to put the right weight on it to score the try, but we saw Paul Green make the bust to St Helens forward, starting to tire. They've done well, especially the props, O'Neill and Leatham. But you get the little blokes like Green taking on the big fellas. You'll carve them up every time.
So Paul Green with a relatively simple conversion attempt. 15 metres out, just off centre, and adds the extras to the try scored by Adam Dykes. And 14-4 now as we watch Adam Dykes with this solo performance.
There you can see the number 18, Andy Haig. He was a long way away. He was already starting to drift across. But Adam Dykes, as Paul pointed out, he's a former half 5'8", got good speed, and the kick was perfectly weighted. So important now for St Helens not to make a mistake in this set of 6. Got just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. They'll be reasonably happy with just a 10-point deficit if they can go in with this scoreline. And really the big test for the English side is always the last 10 or 15 minutes of each half. They can just concede the 1 try in that period in the first 40. Not a bad effort.
This is Leatham. Now from Goulding. That's Pickavance. And on the last tackle now, Goulding goes away for the alternate kicker, Sean Long. Bounces favourable for Donaghy on the right wing. And running into Sullivan just outside his own 30-metre line. The full-back, Samet. Greenhill to the halfway. Held by Leatham after Matautia had been made to miss badly. Green holding it back. And away for Richardson out wide. Taken in by Pickavance for St Helens on his own 40-metre line. Goulding. That's Joint. Well, he's given the penalty.
Craig Greenhill arguing that Joint wasn't held.
You don't have to come in and give him one when he's on the ground, okay? Thank you.
And he came in for a second tackle. That's the fact I don't think Joint was held. He was on the ground. And he's entitled to be tackled again, really. Otherwise, it's a voluntary tackle.
Tap taken by Cunningham. This is O'Neill. Held out there as we look down at Joint getting some attention. Sean Long. Now, was that ball stripped?
No, I think he's just dropped that. Jason Stevens looks very innocent. And I think that the 5'8" just didn't have control as he was about to play the football. He begs to differ. Well, in fact, it was the player on the ground who's touched the football. Craig Greenhill.
So Cronulla, a matter of seconds before the break, leading by 14-4, played by Dykes. Davidson. Oh, good hands there. Paul Green it was. Now, turn back inside for Samet. That is Forrester. Green. Eddinghausen did well under pressure. Bell looks for his second try, but St Helens are there to clean it up. Just out from their own line. Arnold. This is the try scorer, Cunningham. With the halftime siren in the background, there will be no more. So the Sharks will go to the break with a 14-4 lead. Cronulla in front as Graham Annesley blows time on to the second half. Chris Joint, big forward, through quite a bit of work in the first half.
There was a big effort in the first 40 from Chris Joint. 15 tackles and 12 hit-ups. Second in the tackle count behind Julian O'Neill. and well in front of the hit-up department from that same man.
Here's Matautia. Did a couple of things wrong, like that, in the first half. Bit of Solomon Homono about him, really, but his workload was quite significant. Now Jason Stevens. Cronulla will be looking to reassert their authority. Greenhill, just outside the red zone. Fisher, pass allowed to go. Then knocked on by Nickau. Well, everything went wrong for Cronulla. A look of frustration on the face of Tawera Nickau says it all. So St Helens will have the loose head and the feed. As Sullivan comes angling back from the left wing. Let's go to the sidelines. Andrew Voss.
Well, first of all, from the Cronulla room, on Chris McKenna, concussed in the first half. He will be right to make a return in the second half if required. Not a great deal said by John Lang. His major concern was the Sharks' defence. He thought they'd been a bit lazy at times. And from the St Helens room, a fairly positive Sean McRae. He reminded them of their goal to prove they could be competitive. He thought they did that in the first half, but it's back to scratch for the second half. He was a little disappointed with some of their handling, but at the same time, he was happy they were looking to offload. It was a matter of just picking the right moment, and he thought if they could improve by 10 or 20% on the first half effort, that they'd give them a good run for the money.
St Helens then on the attack, off the boot of Goulding. Nicely taken by the fullback Samet. Back there tonight for David Peachy. He's out for 4 or 5 weeks. Now, Paul Donaghy. Just inside the 40-metre line. Tawera Nickau. Reed. Taken down by Pickavance. Stevens. Dykes' pass to ground. Off Richardson. And referee Annesley will pack a scrum.
Yeah, bad handling, letting both sides down early in the second half. Jason Stevens and Dykes short ball, and Richardson just took his eyes off the football. Fundamental stuff.
St Helens then with Alan Hunt. Paul Newlove. (8-6) the handling errors. O'Neill. Cunningham. Leatham. Inside the 30. Good yards. Goulding. Haig. Pickavance. Good support play by Cunningham. Cunningham. Is he over the line? No. That would have been his second try. Pickavance. All hands on deck. And that's the turnover.
And the far winger for St Helens has gone off his head. Arnold on the far side couldn't believe that Pickavance just couldn't throw the footy to him. Nobody within 15 metres of him. But what about this kid? He is a find, this Kieran Cunningham. Tremendous left-hand fend there. Just a tackle over the top from Richardson with the try saver. And from the next ruck, really, if they had been able to get it an extra pass, no problems. If he could have caught and passed Pickavance, the winger was totally unmarked.
Yeah, you give Paul Green some credit there. He rushed up and nullified the attack.
He rolled him over, but I think he could have pulled out of that.
Did he upended him, did he? Oh, well, Jason, I'm trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Did he upend him?
Yeah, he upended him, and
So we need to look and see how he came down.
that's right, yeah.
Okay, all right. So we put it on report?
yeah, put on report.
Okay. It's on report and it's over here where this player's in.
Jason Stevens on report.
That's for a tackle on Andy Haig, the fullback, claiming that he upended him.
And this is the tackle here. Picks him up. He landed very awkwardly, but
Yeah, I don't know, there's too much in it.
Just a strong tackle, really, wasn't it? No arm between the legs.
From 22 metres out, Bobby Goulding will take advantage of this penalty that's been awarded against Jason Stevens. But looking at the replay, he doesn't appear to have a great deal of drama in front of him, even though he's been placed on report. Goulding just off centre, strikes it, and the flags are in the air. So a further 2 points to St Helens, 14 points to 6 now. 5 minutes gone in the second half.
When they've held the ball, St Helens, and put some good strong running together, the likes of O'Neill, followed by his partner in crime, Leatham, they've looked pretty good. When they've offloaded, they've made ground against this Cronulla team.
Well, that's a good sight. Chris McKenna, he was heavily concussed, but it would seem that he's stretching and about to come back into the game. Davidson on the end of a strong tackle there by Pickavance and Cunningham. This is Forrester, right on the 20-metre line. Stevens put some strong running together, Jason Stevens. Nicow, good yards, almost to the halfway line on 3 plays. Greenhill, now the 5th. Fisher, Green, Eddinghausen, puts the centre kick in. Fisher's after it with Haig. And eventually it's Arnold. That's a very good play by Cronulla.
Yeah, but good cover defence as well from Danny Arnold, who came from the far wing. They turned Haig around, they had him beaten for pace. Saw Sean Long sprint up in defence there. As soon as he did that, that opens up this whole right-hand side for Cronulla to utilise. And some good play all around there.
I'll tell you who has played well for the Sharks since coming on and was involved in that and throwing the football to Eddinghausen is this Wade Forrester. Had a couple of good busts. His foreplay's been tremendous. Now, there's Davidson. Taken by Pickavance and taken pretty well, actually forced back to the 30-metre line.
Samet. "20 metres out. Stevens. Now they're 12 away. Green. Nicow. Put down easily. Green again. Stevens. Good ball out the back for Green. Tries to step around Chris Joint. Bounce of the ball in foot. Donaghy will go in. He's going to have a look at it.
Yeah, they're worried about whether he took the post out before he grounded the footballer. I had a feeling that maybe Donaghy's legs went into the touch first, but we'll wait for the replay. Once again, some just non-existent to defence out wide. Sullivan had sprinted up. Good tackle by Long. Now,
No dramas.
Yeah, it's a try for sure.
The ball was put down well before the post was taken or touched by the Cronulla player. The ball's down there. His feet are still in play. It's a valiant effort by the man making the tackle down low, isn't it? Sean Long. He had to cover a lot of ground to get there. The cutout pass eluded Eddinghausen. Donaghy looked as though it was just going to be a simple matter of scoring, but the 5'8" did a mighty job and almost stopped the winger from scoring.
Well, this try will do Paul Donaghy the world of good. He's back in his first match tonight after undergoing shoulder reconstruction, his first game for the year. And I've got no doubts that a try will be forthcoming. There it is. Cronulla's third try. Bell, Dykes and now Donaghy. 18-6.
Ended up being fairly simple. The break here from Cronulla, it's such a condensed line by St Helens that unless the intercept was taken from this Paul Green pass by the winger, Sullivan, it was going to be all over, and Sullivan ended up being nowhere near the football. They were just drawn well in. Two-man overlap developed with Eddinghausen and Donaghy being the players on the outside.
That's good refereeing from Graham Annesley too. You know, any doubt, let's go for the video ref. They've done that, and they've got it right again.
So Paul Donaghy came from Brisbane Souths in 1994 to join up with the Sharks. And now Paul Green in danger of undoing a perfect record, and that in fact is what's happened. So Green fails to convert, but Cronulla lead 18 points to 6 after 49 minutes. Back Andy Hay back to the Cronulla 30-metre line. Gilding. And a knock on by St Helens. The scrum will pack on the Cronulla 30-metre line. The home side will have the loose head and feed. In case of Andy Leatham taking his eyes from the ball to have a look at the defence. It's Adam Dykes. Reminding me that Dean Treaster and Mitch Healy are both out of this team tonight. Of course, Adam Dykes would have the role normally of deputising for both of them. Away from Green. Then from Dykes. Richardson. 42 metres away from the St Helens line. Forrester. Eddinghausen. Green. Then Stevens. Now Sabat. Did well. Loose ball. On the boot by Sullivan. Well, he's out like a shag on a rock. Sullivan is not a St Helens player within two-ey.
Oh, he got some wicked bounces. He'd be the quickest player out there tonight. Sullivan, he can foot it.
To the halfway line then. There's Martin Lang. Now Craig Greenhill. Force the play back down into St Helens area. Forrester. Fisher. 18 to 6. 2 tries to 1 at half time. They've added another try since then. As Green puts up a magnificent bomb. Oh, he had no idea, Andy Hay. And the knock-on will see Cronulla with a great chance to add a further try.
From the time the kick went up, Andy Hay was never going to take this. In fact, I thought he did well to get his fingertips to it at the end. But there's a try coming now. It's been building up for the last 5 minutes, and that was the final nail for mine. I think we'll see the Sharks run one in the next 6.
Green to the open side, and Samet away from Dykes. Eddinghausen sets himself for the line. Eddinghausen picks up Cronulla's 4th try. 22 points to 6.
Nostradamus does it again. What about the next 6? What about the next one? Right from the scrum. It's a set play. But they've really drawn all the St Helens defenders in, and then from here there's no look. Sullivan's left 15, 20 metres of the field for ET to run into.
Well, Paul Newlove is the man who makes it very difficult for his fellow defenders. He comes flying in, the number 4. Straight away opened an overlap for the Sharks. There he is there. He ends up missing another tackle shortly. But really, as soon as Newlove came in and the Sharks were able to get a couple of players out wide and on top of that missed tackle, it was always going to be a try. A little in and away from Eddinghausen. Interesting just to have a look at how the ball comes down here, because Sullivan gets him down before the line and the momentum takes him across. And that's exactly what happens. No promotion of the football by ET. And no problem with the try.
So Paul Green, 4 metres in from touch, and again he's taken it across the face of the uprights. But Cronulla Sutherland extending their lead to 22 points to 6 with 1 hour of the match gone. So Cronulla off the boot of Samet. And this is Derek McVeigh. It's been very good, Samet, the fullback. Cronulla very well off in that area. Not only do they have David Peachy, they have Richie Barnett. And of course, Ben Samet, who's got the job tonight. And he's done a very good job. Morley, did he drop that ball getting up to play it? That's Joey Hayes on the far side of the ground. 2 new faces out there now for St Helens. Joey Hayes in jumper number 2 and Chris Morley in jumper number 24.
Cronulla have played pretty well tonight with a more or less depleted side. And but most of their tries have come after St Helens' mistakes, and St Helens will be right in this game apart from some of the mistakes they've made, and Cronulla have scored, you know, a few tackles later.
This is Howland.
Extremely important now for St Helens after this good work for 60 minutes to make sure that it doesn't get away from them. We pointed out how they could not win a game maybe through the club challenge, but because of for and against could still go through as one of the top 4 sides. That will come down to for and against. They can keep within 20-25 of their opponents tonight. It would just about get them into the playoffs, you would imagine.
Lang. Stevens is crossing over into St Helens territory. One of their players down injured. Green waiting it well. Now, did he get it back, Arnold? Referee said yes, play on. Thought he landed on the line. This is Sullivan. That's Hayes. This was the winger, Arnold. Referee Graham Annesley gave him the benefit of the doubt. Long. There's still one player down. Morley is still getting attention. This is McVeigh. 32 metres away from his own line. Goulding. Goulding's been taken out by Forrester.
Well, he got taken out and the referee called play on immediately, and Goulding is still down.
Dykes. Goulding is still down. Now Lang. It's 38 metres away. Still without their captain. Samet.
Hands in there. Have hands in there.
He's penalised St Helens for attempting to rake the ball out. Meantime, the concern is still there for Bobby Goulding. Here's what brought the penalty, and it's against Chris Joint.
Well, he's got to get back into the line, Goulding. They can't afford not to have him there. Paul Green throws the dummy, nearly goes through.
Nicow to the 10-metre line. Greenhill. Well, Stevens was running wild then. And the ball went ricocheting off his shoulder. And And he plans to wear a Nick-Ow hat of putting the ball in the hands of a try scorer. Hayes. Good yards down the right flank for St Helens. Now away from Long for New Love. This is Arnold. Sullivan. Back for New Love and then for Long. O'Neill. Again, Jason Stevens blocking up the centre. Pick of Vance. Chris McKenna about to come back into the game. Joint. Joint! Good bust. Now New Love. He's away, New Love. Under the uprights, Paul New Love gets St Helens' second try.
But put it down to Chris Joint. What about the double shimmy as he comes up? Completely bamboozled a couple of Cronulla players. Watch the little move he puts on here as he comes up to Forrester. There's one, there's the second. Straight through. He's had a tremendous game tonight, Chris Joint, and positions Newlove perfectly. We haven't seen much of Paul Newlove tonight. I think he's been a disappointment, but he can score a try, and he was in the right position to take advantage of this tremendous setup here from Chris Joint.
Oh, the double shimmy. I think he's tripped twice, hasn't he? Very good play, good evasive work, evasive skills there from Joint. He's not the fastest. He pulls his shorts up on the run.
Glad he did.
The Simmons hanging out, but he doesn't care. Newlove back on the inside, and he's not a bad finisher, Paul Newlove. Right under the sticks where you want him.
So the conversion from Bobby Goulding successful. So a further 6 points to the total of St Helens. And they trail now by 10 at 22-12. 13 minutes to go. And a very deep kickoff is there for Craig Greenhill to bring back. And back to his own 10-metre line. Martin Lang. Four tries to 2. Chris McKenna back on for Cronulla. Stevens. Been a real juggernaut for Cronulla. Nick out. Now the last. Dykes. Big kick sending Arnold back into the in goal. Will he get back? Richardson's after him. Oh, Richardson takes him over the dead ball line. Good chase by Richardson on the kick of Adam Dykes. It was a big kick.
It was a huge kick and a wonderful chase. Arnold looks up, he's got Richardson to beat, but just can't do it. Running sideways doesn't help, and he forced him over the in goal. He's played all right tonight too, Arnold. I've got no doubt the English sides have done a lot of homework since the first 3 rounds of the challenge. That's the worst dropout ever. It's just hit the 40, and we saw Castleford put it to the Hunter yesterday. We've seen a couple of the English sides over in England come up with a couple of surprise wins, and St Helens have done themselves proud tonight.
From Green now for Nickar.
How do you rate the St Helens side compared to the one you took to Wembley, Paul?
Oh, it's not as good. We just had no luck that game.
Because we're lucky to get the nil.
Dykes. Green. Face ball across for Forrester. Sullivan hangs on. Now the last tackle. They'll be looking for Paul Green. Probably the up and under. Good charge down by Goulding. Eddinghausen and Sullivan. Sullivan comes away. Almost to the 40-metre line. Quick passing along the line. Cunningham in for Hunt. 40-metre line. Cronulla's end of the ground. Long. Goulding. Across for Joint. Oh, he's done it again, Joint. Down
the 20. Pulled down about 9 metres out from the line.
Yeah, just a single shimmy this time.
Pickervance, then for Goulding. Now for Long. Out across the face of Hammond. It's with Cunningham. He's lost the ball. And Cronulla Sutherland with it. Bell. There's the bust again made by Chris Joynt.
He's really come to life, hasn't he? He's drifted out a bit wider in the second half, which has seen him up against some smaller opposition.
Well, that's been a pleasing aspect of tonight's game, is the fact that we've got a couple of players out there forcing Helens who've just about matched the best players on the field. Kieran Cunningham has been superb tonight, Chris Joynt not far behind him. And really, they've been as good as any players in the Cronulla outfit.
Well, personally, I think Cunningham's just been the best player on the field. He's just a sensation tonight.
Chased by Cronulla is Keane. As Arnold is put down 10 metres away from his own line. Next Monday night, we take you to Penrith for the match against the Bradford Bulls. That's next Monday at 9:30. Round 5. This is Alan Hunt. New love. Goulding putting the ball onside. And the scrum will pack down on the Cronulla 10-metre line. Well, they haven't given up, St Helens. They've restored a bit of faith of these very loyal English supporters in their performance here tonight. Got beaten by 40 points in the corresponding game. Now they're trailing by 10.
One thing about the English fans from the north of England, they love their football. They also like getting on the screen as well. They'll be having a marvellous time out here over the next couple of weeks as Donaghy comes in from the scrum win. So they'll be fairly vocal the next couple of weeks. Having a good time.
I think that bloke from Carringborough, actually. I saw him at the pub yesterday.
Like you to be at the pub, right?
Must have been a pub tab in there.
There's Samet. 7 minutes of time. And Davo got a bad pass. New love away for Sullivan. Long. Goulding. Pickervance. Now for McVeigh. Shoveled out the back for Joey Hayes. This is Hammond. Goulding. Drifting across. Morley is after it. Donaghy is with it. Tackle just a couple of metres away from his own line.
And with 6 minutes to go, Howland making a run out from his own line. All the interchange players have been used. And the players that are out there now will be the ones that finish the match.
Forrester. Been very strong, Wade Forrester. He was brought into the match probably a lot earlier than his coach would like, when this man, Chris McKenna, was concussed. But having said that, he has done some very strong things in the game tonight. Wade Forrester. Further indication of the depth available to Johnny Lang. Samet. Dykes. Left-footed stabbing kick. Joey Hayes has got some work to do. Jeff Bell wraps him up. This is Arnold. Ran into the shoulder of Davidson. Arnold again. Hunt. Cunningham. Goulding. Through from long to McVeigh. 23 metres away from his own line. His team trailing 22-12. Ian Pickavance spinning it away for Goulding. Back from Hannon. For long to kick. Charged down by McKenna. Lands in the arms of Arnold. So rapid fire action. With Arnold tackled on his own 40-metre line. 4 minutes of time with Cronulla comfortable, but they have had a game of football tonight. And don't tell me they're going to have an injury problem coming up to full time. Trying to check who it is. I think it's Howland. No, that's him with the ball. It's Adam Dykes. Some problems there for Alan Hunt. Now Morley over the halfway, pushing away from Eddinghausen. Joint. Goulding 35 metres out, taking 3 Cronulla defenders with him. Cunningham. That's McVeigh. Just inside the 30. Hammond's kick. Howland's made a mess of it, but it's gone over the touchline.
Well, they love the short kicks and talents. It's one of their big plays, and that's what I like about the English Rugby League. They're willing to try anything. I know it's late in the match and all that, but they'll do that anywhere on the field. In fact, you've seen more of the English, the World Club Challenge than I have. St Helens been the most impressive English side you've seen?
Well, apart from Wigan's first up victory over Canterbury, they were very good that night. But I had only seen St Helens scorelines, so I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen tonight. But I've been fairly impressed, and hopefully Bradford, who's been the other form side throughout the season in England, will be able to come up with the goods next week and the week after in our 2 Monday night coverages.
Well, actually, in fact, they were undefeated in the English Super League. They got hammered by 50 by Auckland yesterday, but they're a better side than that. And I was speaking to some of the St Helens players before the match tonight, and they said that they'd never seen Bradford play as bad as that. Everything went wrong for them, and they're a lot better team than what they showed yesterday.
Now, Adam Dykes is coming from the field as St Helens try to find another try just in front of the full-time siren. This is Morley. Dykes was involved in a head collision with his teammate Richardson.
That's a blood bin for him.
Now it's New Love. Close to the line. Sean Long. Cunningham. 16 is McVeigh. Back for Cunningham. Swept away for Hammond. Hammond away for Pickavance. 2 metres out from the line. Now for Hammond to go on the blind side to Joey Hayes. Bobby Goulding. His kick marked on the full by Donaghy.
And a problem there for St Helens was the fact the man who was in the best position to chase was Alan Hunt, and he took 2 or 3 steps and stopped.
Looked like someone shot him. There's a sniper in the crowd.
Well, he's got a hip problem.
You should have seen him go down.
The kick was the beauty.
Now watch Hunt. There he is. He takes off. Oh, he's gone.
Davidson. Howland. Green. To the halfway line. Richardson. Long run. Big dummy. Bell. Eddinghausen. Andrew gets his second. And Cronulla defeats St Helens.
going to cost them down the track. Well-constructed try here, and it was the strength of Russell Richardson. He beat 2 defenders. The last was Joey Hayes. Positioned his men beautifully on the inside. Bobby Goulding went for the intercept. The pass wasn't thrown. And Bell on to Eddinghausen. He hasn't had many touches tonight, Andrew Eddinghausen. Been a quiet game for the Cronulla captain, but he still gets a try in this match. But his centre partner, well, he did it all for him.
It's been their big problem all night. It's been their defence out wide. St Helens, they just haven't adjusted at times, and the one-on-ones have been a bit ordinary, but they've played well, and Cronulla, a scrappy win for them. They can probably play better than that. Plenty of drop ball by them tonight. Let's not forget they've had 4 or 5 of their top players out.
Paul Green with 5 from 7 for the night. Full-time siren has in fact sounded, and Cronulla has defeated St Helens by 5 tries to 2. Eddinghausen got 2, Bell, Dykes and Donaghy the others, and Cunningham and Newlove, they cross for tries for the St Helens team. So 28 points to 12 in favour of the Sharks over the Saints.
So a great effort by St